Hello, friends. Welcome to Trivia Over Tea, the quiz show podcast where we drink tea and play trivia. I'm your host, Matthew Cook, and I'm here virtually once again with our scorekeeper, Carter Zanke. Carter, how are you today?
I'm doing great as always. Just excited for another episode of Trivia Over Tea.
Fantastic. Well, let's meet this week's contestants. First, we have Max.
Hi, everyone. I'm Max. I'm a senior at Occidental College in LA. I'm majoring in diplomacy and world affairs. So hopefully there will be questions about things that are not the United States, because that is pretty much the only thing I know.
Well, I think you may get lucky today. Thanks, Max, for being here. And we also have Nate.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nate. I'm also a diplomacy and world affairs major at Occidental College. And, I'm currently writing my senior thesis on linkages between football and politics in Eastern Europe. So hopefully there's going to be some questions on Eastern European soccer. So we'll see.
Alrighty.
Oh, and I'm drinking a special blended tea. It's a rooibos from my hometown of Tacoma, Washington, from a wonderful little tea company called Mad Hat. So.
Oh, yes. I neglected my tea. I have a mint tea here with me.
Very good. Thank you. I have my Earl Grey in my Pomona College class of 2020 mug. So,
Got some water.
Excellent.
well, Carter, always have to be different. Okay. Well, thank you all for being here today. As with all of our regular episodes, we'll have 4 rounds of questions today, each with a slightly different format. And so without further ado, Carter will explain the rules for round 1.
Yes, round 1 is our first general knowledge round. We each get 5 multiple choice questions. And questions here, as you might know, are 10 points each. Just guess the right answer and get those 10 points.
Alrighty, Max, you're up first. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Question 1. Which of the following was not a nickname of King Edward I of England? A, the Conqueror, B, Longshanks, or C, Hammer of the Scots?
I'm going to guess the Conqueror, as there is William the Conqueror.
That is correct. Yes. Edward ruled England from 1272 until his death in 1307. He was nicknamed Longshanks because of his height and Hammer of the Scots because of the war he waged in Scotland, as depicted fictitiously in the movie Braveheart. Question 2. In Gone with the Wind, the fictional Tara Plantation is located in what southern city? A, Charleston, B, Atlanta, or C, Richmond?
That is a tough question. I'm going to say Charleston.
It's actually in Atlanta. The novel and its film adaptation, though critically acclaimed upon their respective releases, controversially glorified plantation life and promote the lost cause of the Confederacy. Question 3. Which of the following Canadian cities is not located on an island? A, Montreal, B, Toronto, or C, Victoria?
Toronto.
That's correct. Montreal is on its namesake island, and Victoria is located on Vancouver Island. Question 4. This one's a Mason question.
Oh, nice.
What Italian composer was famous for reusing portions of his previous operas in his newer works, such as when he recycled the overture to Aureliano in Palmyra to be the overture for his most famous opera, The Barber of Seville? A, Rossini, B, Puccini, or C, Verdi?
I knew he was going to do this. I told him explicitly I was not ready for the music questions. I'm going to guess Puccini because that's the one I've heard of.
Okay, it's actually Rossini. Yeah, Rossini wrote Barber of Seville. And finally, question 5. The Maharaja Mac in India is McDonald's regional variety of Big Mac that replaces the beef patties with what other meat? A, pork, B, salmon, or C, chicken?
I'm going to go with C, chicken.
That is correct. Yes. Alrighty, Nate, are you ready for your 5 questions?
I am. Yeah. Well, I hope. Barring a Mason level question in there, I think I'm ready.
Well, I have to evenly distribute the Mason questions, because if I gave them all to one person, that would be not fair. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Here we go. Question 1. How many 14ers are in Colorado? A, 33 or 38, depending on the criteria. B, 43 or 48, depending on the criteria. Or C, 53 or 58, depending on the criteria.
I'm going to guess B on that one. Was that 38, 42?
43, 48. That was B. It was actually C, 53 or 58, depending on the criteria. According to 14ers.com, a peak must rise at least 300 feet above the saddle that connects it to the nearest 14er peak. There are 5 peaks that don't meet this criteria, but are on the list because they are named and recognized by the USGS. There you go. Question 2. Which of the following states is not the birthplace of a former US president? A, Hawaii, B, Maryland, or C, Hawaii? Sorry. A, Hawaii, B, Maryland, or C, Iowa?
I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with C on that one.
That is correct.
Iowa.
Wait, are you going with Iowa? Wait, Iowa was C.
Yeah.
Iowa?
C. Yeah.
Okay, that's not correct. It was B, Maryland.
Okay.
Vice President
Maryland. Okay.
Vice President Spiro Agnew is from Maryland, but no president has hailed from Maryland. Of course, Barack Obama was born in Hawaii, and Herbert Hoover was born in Iowa. Question 3. The musical Rent is based on what opera by Giacomo Puccini? A, Tosca, B, Madama Butterfly, or C, La Boheme?
I'm going to go with A on that one.
It's actually La Boheme, C. Puccini's
Is that
opera
amazing?
premiered in 1896, and Rent opened on Broadway in 1996 with book lyrics and music written by Jonathan Larson. I think that's it for the music questions today, if I remember correctly. So, yes, that's it for the music questions,
There we go.
or at least of that type of music. Okay, question 4. Which of the following states do not have a place named Springfield in it? A, Massachusetts, B, North Carolina, or C, Texas?
Ooh. I know one of them. Springfield in it. Texas is such a big state. I'm going to go with North Carolina. Is that B or C?
That was B, and that is correct. It is North Carolina. Very good.
Okay.
And finally, question 5. Which of the following wives of King Henry VIII was not beheaded? A, Catherine Parr, B, Catherine Howard, or C, Anne Boleyn?
Was not beheaded. So Catherine Parr, Catherine Howard. I should know this. I was just in England for a semester, but I'm going to go with Catherine Parr.
That is correct.
A.
Yeah, Catherine Parr was the last of Henry's wives, and they were still married upon his death in 1547. Catherine Howard was the 5th wife, and she was beheaded in 1542 after being accused of adultery with her distant cousin Thomas Culpeper. Anne Boleyn was Henry's 2nd wife, and she was beheaded in 1536 after she miscarried a male child and was the subject of fabricated allegations of adultery and treason. So there you go. Well, that's the end of round 1. So Carter, can you please give us a score update?
We have Max at 30 and Nate at 20.
Alrighty, and now it is time for round 2. So Carter, can you please tell us the rules?
Yes, in round 2, you'll each get 5 open-ended questions on the same topic. Questions here are worth 20 points each. If you go in wrong, your opponent can now answer for 10 points.
Alrighty. So usually on this podcast, we try to make the second round about somebody whose birthday is on the date that the podcast is being released. And so in this case, this episode is being released on February 1st. And the most famous birthday that I could find that is February 1st is one Harry Styles. So I hope that you all know a lot about Harry Styles because you're both going to get 5 questions about him.
I should know a lot more considering that my girlfriend is a big Harry Styles fan. So too, maybe a struggle, I think.
I was forced to watch the One Direction documentary at 10 years old, but that is where my Harry Styles knowledge started and ended. So we'll see how much I remember.
All right. Well, I think this might go okay. I will say that I had to try really, really hard as somebody who's not super plugged into the pop culture of today. Had to try really, really, really hard to write these questions. So hopefully they're okay. I think they are. Anyway, Max, you're up first. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All righty. Question 1. Styles' career began in 2010 when he was a solo contestant on what British reality show created by Simon Cowell?
I think it is the X Factor.
That is correct.
Oh.
He failed to get past the boot camp stage of the show. Question 2. Styles was put together with 4 other former X Factor contestants to form what boy band?
Oh, this one was a little easier than I thought. One Direction.
Yes, that's correct. The other members, of course, were Niall Horan, Liam Payne, Louis Tomlinson, and Zayn Malik. Question 3. Styles follows a pescatarian diet, meaning he doesn't eat meat, but he does eat what?
Ish.
That's correct.
Ish.
Question 4. In 2017, Styles made his feature film debut in what Christopher Nolan war film about the evacuation of soldiers from France in 1940? Oh no.
I believe that was Dunkirk.
Yes, that is correct. Nolan claimed he was unaware of the extent of Styles' fame when he cast him. Styles' performance received praise from both critics and audiences. And finally, question 5. In 2012, Styles dated what singer who was a little over 4 years his senior?
Ooh, 4 years his senior.
Did I say that he was born in 1994?
Oh, doing the math, I'm going to assume
A
that
little
it was
over
Taylor-
4 years his senior. Yeah, anyway.
Doing the math, someone who's close to a couple years older than I'm going to guess Taylor Swift, who I think was born in 1989.
That is
given the
correct.
answer.
Yep. There is speculation that they have both written songs about their relationship.
Oh, I did not know that.
Well, this
One
is
of
what
my
you
top
glean.
songs of the year is Style.
So anyway, I wouldn't know because I don't know any of his songs. But anyway, Nate, are you ready for your 5 questions?
One hopes, one hopes.
Okay. Question 1. In 2011, One Direction released what debut single that reached #1 on the UK singles chart?
Is it You Don't Know You're Beautiful?
Yeah, the actual title of the song
Are we
is
frozen?
what the title of the song is actually What Makes You Beautiful. But yes, that's the song. So
Damn.
no, but we'll give you credit because that's the song. It's the band's most recognizable song, and Styles still performs it in his solo shows. Question 2. In 2012, Styles made an appearance on what Nickelodeon show starring Miranda Cosgrove along with the rest of One Direction?
iCarly.
That is iCarly. The band performed What Makes You Beautiful on the web show within the show. Question 3. In 2017, Styles released what debut single that appeared on his self-titled debut album?
I really should know this. Ooh. Not Georgia. Carolina, is it, by chance?
No, not that one. Max, do you know?
Did you say the album was from 2017?
Yeah.
Thinking of my knowledge of Harry Styles solo songs, which are not an extensive list, but is it Watermelon Sugar? I know that one is out there.
No.
Oh,
This one's called Sign of the Times.
interesting.
I wouldn't have known that one.
Me
Yeah,
neither.
okay.
This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
The song did reach #1 though on the UK singles chart.
Interesting.
Question 4. This one's tough, I think. Styles dated what actress and director famous for her roles on House and in Cowboys vs. Aliens after they met while working on the film Don't Worry, Darling?
I thought it would be Olivia Wilde, wouldn't it?
That is Olivia Wilde. Yeah. They dated throughout most of 2021 and 2022. And finally, question 5. In 2022, Styles released what third solo album with the lead single As It Was?
Harry's Room.
What would you say?
Or Harry's House. Harry's House. My apologies. Harry's House.
That's correct. Yes, Harry's House. It was nominated for it is nominated for the Grammy for the album of the year, and the Grammys are happening I think next weekend.
Oh,
as
wow.
as
Pretty good
we're
guess.
or it's sometime very soon. So at this point,
Sooner
it
than
is
the
still
Oscars, at least.
yeah. Well, that's the end of round two. That was probably like the highest scoring round two that we've had in a very, very, very long time. Easier subject though, I think. So Carter, can you please tell us, can you please give us a score update?
We have Max at 130 and Nate at 100.
Alrighty, now it's time for round three. So Carter, can you please tell us the rules?
Yes, in round three, you'll similarly get 5 open-ended questions, but this time on a variety of topics. And questions here are worth 30 points each. So if you get one wrong, your opponent can answer for 15 points.
Alrighty, Max, are you ready for your 5 questions?
I am ready.
Okay, question 1. What interstate highway crosses the San Francisco Bay on the bridge that links San Rafael to Richmond?
That is hard because I've driven over that all my life and I have never paid attention to the signs. But I know is it Highway 80? I know that is out there.
That is out there. It's not that one though.
Is that the Bay Bridge by chance?
That is the Bay Bridge. Yes. Nate, do you know?
I should know this because my dad has drilled this into my head. I'm gonna take a gander. Is that 580?
It is 580. Yes.
Ooh.
Very good. Yeah, as you said, 80 goes over the Bay Bridge. Question 2. Uh-oh, where'd Carter go? Oh, there he is.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm gonna
All
grab a computer charger real quick.
Okay.
I'm about to buy.
Okay. Yeah. Are you good? Okay, we'll wait for you. Wait for you. Okay.
Right
Yeah,
before
there's some
that
family
was,
friends. What's up?
right before this, I saw that there's the question about the interstate highway system. I was studying the map of LA.
Ah, yeah. No, I knew that you were from the Bay, so I
Yeah.
figured it would be better to ask about that.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting when you like grow up somewhere and you drive on the roads all the time. You never really pay that much attention to the actual names. You just kind of know generally where to make the turns.
Right. Yeah.
No, definitely.
That's definitely what I found in the 2 years that we've done this show, is that nobody really knows the highways that they drive on in the
Oh,
places
yeah.
where they're from. Yeah, much to my chagrin.
I was going to say, is your knowledge of Northern Virginia highways pretty stellar?
Oh, it is. Yes, it's very, very stellar.
Since second grade.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've always this is like my superpower is like
Nice.
driving directions. Yeah, certainly for DC and LA, I'm really good. So alrighty. We good, Carter?
Yes, sorry. It's really draining my battery to run the scoreboard and have, it's a lot to work with at once.
All good. Alrighty, here we go. Question 2. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union, who served as the first president of the Russian Federation?
I'm going to say that was Boris Yeltsin.
That is correct. He served from 1991 to 1999 and oversaw the transition, of Russia's economy from a command economy to a capitalist one. Question 3. What French explorer was the first European to sail down the St. Lawrence River and claimed what is now Canada for France?
I'm going to guess that is Jean-Jacques Cartier.
That is correct. In 1535, on his second voyage, he came across the Iroquois villages of Stadacona and Hochelaga, located near where the present-day cities of Quebec City and Montreal are, respectively. Question 4. According to the U.S. Constitution, who casts the tie-breaking vote in the Senate?
That would be the vice president.
That's correct. As the president of the Senate, the vice president votes in the event of a tie. In the last Congress, the Senate was split 50-50, which required Vice President Kamala Harris to spend quite a bit of time on Capitol Hill. And finally, question 5. In 2004, Wimbledon FC controversially relocated to Buckinghamshire and became what club currently playing in League One?
I know this one, as it is one of probably the most hated cities in the UK. I'm going to say it is Milton Keynes.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, Mason, that was a Mason question. Yeah.
Mason has referred to that city quite a bit. I was ready for that one.
My brother's too predictable. Alrighty. Nate, are you ready?
I am, yeah.
Okay, question 1. What secondary interstate highway creates a bypass route of Seattle by routing east of Lake Washington?
Oh, that's going to be 405.
That is correct, yes. Question 2. In 1918, what country, following a revolution that took them out of World War I, adopted the use of the Gregorian calendar?
And calendar. Revolution. That be the Ottoman Empire?
No, not the Ottoman Empire. Max?
Will that be what became the Soviet Union, considering they were using the Orthodox calendar before?
Yeah, Russia. Yeah.
Mhm.
They were one of the last nations in Europe to adopt the Gregorian calendar, and it came in the midst of the Russian Revolution that ushered Vladimir Lenin and the Soviets into power. Question 3. On February 1st, 2021, a coup d'etat in what country saw the transfer of power from a civilian government to military control in what Southeast Asian nation?
That'd be Myanmar.
That's correct. President Win Mint and State Councilor Aung San Suu Kyi were deposed by the military led by General Min Aung Hlaing. The coup was widely condemned by the international community. Question 4. The 16th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution gave the federal government the power to levy a tax on what?
Would that be 15th Amendment? Ooh, I know this is wrong. Alcohol?
No, not that. Max?
The 16th Amendment, you said?
Yeah.
This is a tough one. Can I say to levy tariffs? Is it an import tax?
No, levy a tax on income,
Oh, income. Okay.
personal income.
Hmm.
The amendment was in response to the Supreme Court ruling on Pollock versus Farmers' Loan and Trust Company, which had prohibited the government from taxing income. And it was ratified in 1913.
Oh, wow. Later than I expected.
Yeah. So, yes, income tax is a surprisingly recent thing. Finally, question 5. Colossus Rodau, Olympiakos, and ASX Lardica are Greek teams that play what sport?
Oh, that's going to be soccer, football.
No, not soccer.
Oh, water polo, actually.
No, Max.
Oh, my apologies. Basketball.
Max, you get to answer now.
Well, I know Nate already said it, but I'm going to guess basketball as well.
It is basketball. Yeah, that was an amazing question as well.
Yeah. No. The Olympiakos connection, always with a particular EuroLeague. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There are some pretty iconic videos of Greek basketball fans out there on the internet, so I know
There's
they're
water polo
passionate about that
too.
sport too.
Yeah. I'll be honest, there's Giannis, and of course there's water polo ultras, budding Greek sports scene these days.
Yeah, this one was basketball. At any rate, that's the end of round 3. So Carter, can you please give us a score update?
Looks like we have Max at 280 and Nate at 175.
Alrighty, and now it is time for round 4. So Carter, can you please tell us the rules?
Yes, round 4 is our showdown, where you'll each get the same 3 questions, and questions here are worth 40 points each. So we'll ask you to make note of your answers or write them down. Just have them written down somewhere so we can reveal our answers at about the same time.
Alrighty. Max, Nate, are we ready?
Yes.
Alrighty. Question 1. What American philosopher, abolitionist, and lecturer gave a speech entitled The American Scholar in 1837, which Oliver Wendell Holmes Sr. called, quote, the intellectual Declaration of Independence? Okay. Do we have answers?
I have my answer prepared.
Okay. Max, what is your answer?
I cannot remember his first name, but I know his last name was Douglas.
Okay. Nate?
Frederick Douglass.
This one was actually Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He led the Transcendentalist movement in America and was a mentor to people like Henry David Thoreau.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. Question 2. On February 1st, 1960, a sit-in protest began in what North Carolina city and lasted until July 25th?
I have my answer whenever
Okay.
Nate is ready.
Yep, I'm ready.
Alrighty, Max, what is your answer?
I said Greensboro.
All right, Nate,
I also said Greensboro.
that is correct. Yes, Greensboro. The protest was over the whites-only lunch counter at the Woolworths department store. 4 students began the protest on the 1st. On the 2nd, more than 20 students participated. On the 3rd, over 60 were there. And then on the 4th, over 300 protesters showed up. And finally, on July 25th, the manager ended the policy of whites only following nearly $200,000 in lost business during the sit-ins. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, question 3. The westernmost point in the Eastern time zone is located in what state? We're talking about the Eastern time zone in the United States, not in Canada or elsewhere. So just in the United States. Do we have?
I have my
Answer.
answer.
Alrighty, Max, what is your answer?
My answer is based entirely off of a throwaway line in the show Parks and Rec, but I'm going to say Indiana.
Okay. Nate?
I was going to say Kentucky, but we'll see.
Okay. It's actually Michigan.
Wow.
It's in Ontonagon County along the shore with Lake Superior on the Upper Peninsula. The 4 counties in the Upper Peninsula that border Wisconsin are actually in the Central time zone. But this one is at the western edge of the Eastern time zone.
That
So
is
there you
much
go.
further west than I was imagining.
Yeah, it's surprising. The Eastern time
Really
zone
is.
is really quite big. And most of Kentucky, or I shouldn't say most, but 60% of Kentucky is in it. The overwhelming majority of Indiana is in the Eastern time zone. And Michigan as well.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
well, that's the end of the game. So Carter, can you please give us the final score?
Our final score is Max with 320 points and Nate with 215.
Well, Max, you have won. Do you have anything that you would like to say?
Very surprised that my knowledge of One Direction was able to push me to this win. I was pretty shocked and impressed with myself, but I'm glad to see there was a couple Eastern European politics questions. I know that's the area where Nate and I tend to go a bit crazy.
Yeah. Well, the geopolitical and also just like general history and geography stuff is really easy for me to write. So that made preparing for this episode a little easier than normal. So I'm glad that your areas of knowledge fell in that general realm.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, that's our show for this week, folks. Thank you, Max and Nate, for being on the show today, as well as Carter Zenke for being our scorekeeper, and Mason Cook for composing the music. Today's questions were written by Mason Cook and yours truly. And thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe to Trivia Over Tea on your preferred podcast platform and leave us a review if you enjoyed it. And check out our Facebook and Instagram pages at Trivia Over Tea, as well as our Twitter account also at Trivia Over Tea. And feel free to message us on any of these platforms if you have any comments or suggestions regarding the show. And tune in 2 weeks' time when we'll have 2 new contestants and 33 more fantastic questions. So thank you. We'll see you